The kingdom of Leora lay nestled between silver lakes and rolling green meadows, where the sky always seemed a shade softer and the stars glimmered just a little closer to the earth. It was a peaceful realm, known for its gentle winds, flower-filled hills, and songs that drifted from every village window at dusk. Yet the heart of this kingdom was not its castles or its gardens, but a young princess named Lila, a girl with eyes the color of morning dew and a spirit as curious as a summer breeze. She was loved by her people, not for her crown, but for the kindness she carried in her voice and the way she listened to even the smallest of creatures. Every evening, as the first stars appeared, Princess Lila would climb to the highest balcony of the castle to whisper her wishes into the wind. She didn't wish for gold, jewels, or fame. Instead, she wished for something she could never quite describe, a feeling of wonder she had glimpsed once in her dreams, a glowing creature with a mane of light, galloping through the clouds. The memory was soft and fleeting, yet it lingered in her heart like a song half remembered. Her nursemaid often laughed and called it the dream of a unicorn, but Lila believed it was something more, a promise waiting to be discovered. One night, the moon rose larger and brighter than ever before, bathing the castle in silvery light. The garden below shimmered like a sea of diamonds, and even the fountain seemed to sing a quieter, sweeter tune. But something was different. From beyond the forest that bordered the kingdom, Lila thought she saw a faint glimmer, a soft, pulsing glow, like the heartbeat of a star fallen to earth. Her curiosity stirred, and before she could think twice, she slipped on her cloak, tiptoed past the sleeping guards, and made her way into the night. The forest, usually dark and still, was alive with strange sounds, the whisper of leaves, the hoot of owls, and the rustle of unseen wings. Yet Lila felt no fear. Each step she took seemed to draw her closer to that mysterious glow, which now flickered between the trees like a lantern leading her deeper into the unknown. Then, at the edge of a moonlit clearing, she saw it, a creature pure as light itself, its horn glimmering like a shard of moonstone, its mane rippling with every color of dawn. A unicorn, real, breathing, and impossibly beautiful. Lila froze, her breath caught in her throat. The unicorn turned its head toward her, its eyes calm and ancient, filled with both sorrow and knowing. For a long, quiet moment, neither moved, the princess and the unicorn, bathed in moonlight, bound by a silence too deep for words. Then, gently, the unicorn took a step forward. And though she didn't understand how, Lila felt its voice inside her mind, soft as the night air. "You've heard the call, little princess. The light has chosen you." The air around the silver lake shimmered as the voice faded, leaving behind a silence so deep that even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Clara looked at Luma, whose glow now pulsed faintly like the last ember of a dying flame. Tears welled in Clara's eyes. "You can't go," she whispered. "You're my light." Luma twirled softly, her glow trembling as if she wanted to stay, too. But both of them could feel the truth: every light has its journey, and this one was nearing its turn to rise. The moon's reflection appeared upon the lake, brighter and clearer than before. "Little star," his voice echoed gently, "you came to answer a wish, and in doing so, you awakened more light than you know." He turned his pale gaze toward Clara. "Child of Earth, your courage gave her strength. Now it is time to let her return, so her glow may guide others." Clara's hands trembled as she lifted Luma closer to the water. The golden star hovered above her palms, her light flickering uncertainly between joy and sorrow. "Will I ever see you again?" Clara asked. For a moment, the lake reflected not two figures but an entire sky, thousands of stars swirling in a spiral of light. At the center was Luma, glowing brighter than ever before. Her voice, soft and wordless, filled Clara's heart. "You will see me whenever you dream." With one final, radiant flash, Luma rose. The water rippled with waves of gold as she ascended, leaving trails of shimmering dust that danced like fireflies. Clara watched, eyes wide, as the tiny star soared higher and higher until she became one with the constellations above. The heavens blazed with renewed brilliance, the night sky reborn. Even the moon seemed to shine warmer, as though smiling down upon them both. That night, when Clara finally lay in bed, she didn't feel afraid of the dark. The shadows felt gentler, the stars closer. And as her eyes drifted shut, a faint golden light twinkled through her window, a small, familiar flicker that pulsed with the rhythm of her heart. Luma had returned to the sky, but her glow lived on, not just above Willowmere, but within every child who dared to believe that even the smallest light could change the world. As Lila and the unicorn entered the valley, the air grew heavy and still. The mist thickened, swirling around them like slow-moving clouds. The closer they came to the heart tree, the quieter the forest became, even the wind held its breath. Up close, the tree was immense, its silver bark streaked with veins of fading light. Once, it must have shone like the moon itself, but now dark vines coiled around its roots, pulsing faintly with shadow. Lila's heart ached at the sight. "It's beautiful," she whispered, "but it's hurting." The unicorn nodded slowly. "The light within it is bound by sorrow. To heal it, we must find the guardian, the one who remembers." They approached the tree's base, where a small pool of crystal water reflected the faint starlight. Lila knelt beside it and saw her own face shimmering in the reflection, but it wasn't alone. Another face appeared beside hers, older, kind, and framed with silver hair that flowed like the water itself. Lila gasped as the image rippled, and from the mist of the pool rose a woman draped in robes woven from moonlight. Her eyes, ancient yet gentle, looked upon Lila with quiet recognition. "At last," she said, her voice soft and echoing, "the dreamer has returned." "The dreamer?" Lila repeated, her brow furrowing. The guardian smiled faintly. "Many centuries ago, a child much like you stood here, a heart pure enough to awaken the magic of Leora. The unicorns watched over her, just as yours watches over you. But when her time passed, the kingdom's belief began to fade. People forgot the songs of the stars and the whispers of the woods. The heart tree began to dim, waiting for another dreamer to reignite it." The realization sent a shiver through Lila. "You mean I was meant to come here?" The guardian's expression softened. "All who listen to the moon's call are meant for something." The unicorn stepped forward, lowering its head in reverence. "Guardian," it said, "tell us how we may heal the heart tree." The woman turned toward the massive trunk, tracing her fingers along the darkened bark. "Its roots draw strength from the light within every dream, every hope. But a shadow has entered from beyond the mountains, a creature born from forgotten fears. It feeds on doubt and despair, and it has begun to drain the heart tree's glow. To restore it, you must retrieve the crystal of dawn, hidden deep within the cavern of echoes. Only its light can awaken the heart once more." Lila's breath caught. "Then we'll go," she said without hesitation. "Tell us the way." The guardian's silver eyes gleamed with approval, and a trace of sadness. "The path will test your courage and your heart. You will face what you fear most, and only truth can light your way. But remember, princess, light is never lost, only forgotten." With that, the guardian touched Lila's forehead gently. A small mark, a star-shaped glow, appeared above her brow. "This will guide you when the night grows darkest." The woman began to fade back into the mist, leaving behind a shimmer that drifted upward like starlight returning to the sky. Lila turned to the unicorn, who met her gaze with quiet pride. "I suppose our journey is only beginning," she said softly. The unicorn's mane rippled with light as it nodded. "And so begins the true test of your heart." Together, they looked once more at the wounded heart tree before setting their sights on the distant horizon, where the mountains loomed, dark and vast, guarding the secrets of the Cavern of Echoes. The night sky stretched endlessly above the quiet town of Elmswood, painted in shades of midnight blue and silver. Autumn had arrived softly, carrying the scent of pine and cool earth. Beneath that vast canopy of stars sat a little boy named Leo, his blanket wrapped tightly around his shoulders. He sat on the porch steps of his small wooden house, watching the heavens as if waiting for something only he could feel coming. Every night since his father had gone on a long trip for work, Leo watched the stars, hoping one might carry a message or a sign that he wasn't alone. That evening, something different stirred in the sky. A cluster of stars shimmered unusually bright, glowing with a pale, almost living light. Leo tilted his head, his breath catching in awe. One of the stars seemed to move, not like the others, not like a plane, but in a soft, drifting fall. It descended slowly, its glow growing warmer, golden, and almost heartbeat-like. The forest behind his house shimmered for a moment, and then, with a faint flash, the light vanished into the trees. Leo blinked. The world went quiet again, but the air now smelled faintly of something strange, not smoke, not rain, but something clean, electric, and alive. Curiosity tugged at him stronger than fear. Grabbing his small flashlight, Leo tiptoed across the damp grass toward the forest. The beams of light danced between tall pines and silver leaves that whispered softly in the wind. Each step brought him closer to where the glow had disappeared. Then he saw it, a faint shimmer between two trees, like stardust caught in a web. He pushed aside the branches, heart hammering. And there, lying in a hollow of moss, was a dog. Or at least, something shaped like one. The creature was small, glowing faintly as if made from the same light that had fallen from the sky. Its fur shimmered like soft starlight, silver with glints of pale blue. Its eyes opened slowly, reflecting galaxies, deep, endless, and kind. Leo froze, barely daring to breathe. The dog looked at him with calm intelligence, then wagged its tail once, a delicate movement that scattered tiny motes of light into the air. When Leo reached out, the creature pressed its head gently into his hand, warm, real, alive. Leo's fear melted into wonder. "You came from up there, didn't you?" he whispered, glancing at the stars above. The dog gave a soft, musical bark, a sound that didn't echo like normal but resonated, almost like a note of music blending into the night. For a moment, Leo felt a strange connection, as if he could sense the creature's emotions, kindness, comfort, and something deeper, a purpose. The boy wrapped the glowing dog in his blanket, smiled through tears he didn't understand, and whispered, "Let's go home, Star." By the time Lila and the unicorn emerged from the cavern, the first blush of morning painted the horizon. The air was cool and sweet, carrying the scent of dew and distant flowers. In Lila's hands, the crystal of dawn pulsed with warm light, not harsh or blinding, but soft and alive, like a heartbeat that echoed through the land. "It's beautiful," she whispered. The unicorn lowered its head beside her. "It carries the light of every dreamer who never gave up hope," it said. "Now, it's time to return it to the heart tree." Lila nodded, her heart filled with quiet determination. Together, they began their journey home. As they crossed the Valley of Mists once more, the world seemed to awaken around them. The wilted flowers lifted their faces to the light, the trees whispered songs that hadn't been heard in years. Even the rivers gleamed with silver ripples again. Villagers who looked out from their cottages that morning would later swear they saw a trail of golden light winding through the fields, a girl and a glowing creature walking together, like a dream that had stepped into the waking world. But Lila didn't see them. Her eyes were fixed on the towering silver tree in the distance, the heart tree, still dim, but waiting. When they reached it, the valley grew silent. The dark vines around the tree's roots trembled, sensing the power in Lila's hands. The unicorn bowed its head. "Place it in the hollow at the tree's heart," it murmured. Lila stepped forward, feeling the crystal's warmth spread through her fingers and into her chest. She pressed it gently into the hollow, and as soon as she did, a surge of light burst outward, radiant, endless, and pure. The ground beneath her shimmered, the mist lifted, and the tree came alive. Its bark turned to silver and gold, its branches unfurled like wings, and streams of light cascaded through the valley like rivers of stars. The unicorn reared, releasing a cry that echoed across the mountains, a sound both joyful and ancient. All around them, the kingdom of Leora awakened. The sky deepened to the bluest blue, and the air filled with the laughter of children as warmth returned to their homes. The guardian's voice echoed faintly from the wind, "Well done, dreamer of the moon. You have restored the balance." Lila turned toward the unicorn, tears glimmering in her eyes. "Will you stay?" she asked softly. The unicorn's mane shimmered like sunlight through glass. "My time in this form ends when the light returns," it said gently. "But I will never truly leave you, I live in every dream you'll ever have." Before she could speak again, the unicorn began to fade, turning into soft ribbons of light that spiraled upward, merging with the newly awakened heart tree. Lila stood quietly, smiling through her tears. The mark on her forehead glowed once more, then faded into a single spark that drifted into the sky, joining the stars that now shone brighter than ever. She looked around at the valley, alive and golden, and whispered, "Thank you." Then, as the wind carried her words into the light, she felt a warmth in her heart, a quiet knowing that magic, once believed in, never truly disappears. That night, when Lila looked out from her balcony, the stars seemed closer than ever before. And somewhere among them, she thought she saw a familiar shimmer, the gentle curve of a unicorn's horn glinting in the moonlight. She smiled, whispering her final wish into the wind, "May the light never fade again." And as she drifted into sleep, the kingdom of Leora slept peacefully beneath the brightest, kindest stars it had ever known.